Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on my link. I appreciate it. If you are here watching this video, you're probably thinking about moving to West Palm Beach, Florida. Um, and I made this video because there's not a lot of places that you can look kind of just to get the lay of the land about what's going on in West Palm Beach. And I just thought it would come in handy. I know there's a lot of people moving from up north down to Florida. There's about 1,000 people a day moving here, and some of them are undoubtedly going to come to West Palm Beach. I moved here 3 years ago from Astoria, Queens in New York, and I am a realtor here, and it is my job to help people find a great place to live. And you can't do that unless you know what the heck is going on down here. So I wanted to start off with just a lay of the land, like geographically, where are the neighborhoods? Um, yeah, so let's do that. And I'm just going to focus on east of 95. There's some areas over here that are part of West Palm Beach, but when people talk about West Palm Beach, they're really talking about east of 95 for the most part. When you say, I want to live in West Palm, this is kind of where the city of West Palm at least, where you want to be. Um, and also, I want to say Palm Beach is over here. These are two separate places. Very frequently, I notice on TV, sometimes in even real estate listings, they say Palm Beach. That's Palm Beach. This is West Palm Beach. They are two separate places. This is the Barrier Island. This is where all the super fancy homes are. There are some super fancy homes here, but it's not the same. They're two separate places. So know where you're moving to. All right. So I'm going to start here in South West Palm Beach, right near the spillway. This is Lake Worth down here. This is the beginning of West Palm Beach, the city of West Palm Beach at least. So this is the south end. This is So-So over here. This is actually where I live. It's a great neighborhood. At least I think so. You have the Intracoastal Waterway. This is a path that you can walk and bike, and everybody does. In the mornings, at night, you just see people jogging, running, biking, with their dogs and their kids and all that fun stuff. It is fantastic. A lot of tree-lined streets. There is a huge difference in housing prices. You have extremely expensive homes here on the waterfront. They just actually listed a brand new construction home for $18 million, which that'll break a record for this neighborhood. But as you get closer to Dixie Highway, and Dixie is over here, Olive is over here, the prices actually just go down. So the further away you get from the water, the prices go down. So I live right around here. So you can find houses for, between, let's say, between 400,000 or 500,000 and about $1 million over here. And then they just creep up as you get closer to the water. All right, let's move a little bit north. We have Southern Boulevard here. We're going to move north. This is the El Cid area. This is the historic El Cid area. Everybody talks about El Cid. It is stunning. The homes are extremely expensive. You don't see anything for under $1 million. There's some other historic neighborhoods down here that are not as well known as El Cid, but beautiful nonetheless. They're going to be a little less expensive. We have Flamingo Park over here, which is a great neighborhood. The homes are beautiful. The tree-lined streets are fantastic. We have Grandview Heights, which is pretty much like right next to Flamingo Park. It's a little more craftsman than Mediterranean, but still historic. Pineapple Park, which is, the prices are going to be much cheaper. I'd say not as nice as Flamingo Park, but if you're looking for a deal, this is up and coming. I will mention this little industrial area. There's a place here called Grandview Market, which is a food hall that's been open for a couple years. Fantastic place to eat. We'll get to place to eat later. Norton Museum of Art. And then we have downtown West Palm Beach. So you have tons of restaurants. You have Clematis Street, which is the famous street. If you want to buy a condo, this is where you want to be. It's all condos. You're not going to find any single family homes. And there's really something for everybody's price range. You can find condos starting from about 300 all the way up to $10 million in the Bristol. So there's really everything you want. And here's the bridge that goes over to Palm Beach. As we go a little further north, you're going to get into Old Northwood, which is a nice historic area. We have Northwood Hills, and then there's some shopping and nice little stuff to do up in Northwood with kitschy little shops. And then the Manatee Lagoon, which is where you can go check out manatees in the wintertime because they come and swim there. Because there's a power plant that puts off warm water, which is clean, and they hang out there. The kids love it. I'll admit that I love it. Seeing the manatees, very cool. So that's kind of the city of West Palm Beach. There's more to West Palm, but I'm not going to cover it today. Like I said, because this is kind of what people think of when they're talking about West Palm Beach. So first, I want to, by the way, I'm going to give you the overview. We're going to talk about weather. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about places to eat, food, things to do. I'm going to try to keep it short, hopefully under 15 minutes. So let's do this thing. Let's start with weather. I'm going to do weather and taxes first because I think that's why everybody moves to Florida. All right. Weather. During the wintertime, it is the most beautiful place to be. Everybody from up north comes down here. You can be on the beach. It is phenomenal. I do have to say, though, during the summer, it is oppressively hot. So, and, they say here 90 degrees is an average high. Also, you're looking at insane humidity, like 80%, 90%, 100%. You're looking at feels like 115. And that goes on for a couple months. So maybe more than a couple months. It's a long summer. Let me just say that. And, if you like seasons, I'm telling you, Florida's not your place because there's pretty much no seasons. It's like really hot and then beautiful, but there's really no winter. Okay. Maybe we have one day where, it gets freezing and iguanas fall out of the trees because they don't like the cold weather. But that's about it. All right. So if you like seasons, Florida is not your place unless you have a, place to go. If you don't mind, if you say I want to be on the beach every day, then this is your place. But just remember, it is hot. There are no seasons. And I will tell you, after 3 years of being here, it's kind of like Groundhog Day sometimes. We make sure to get out of here every once in a while to get up to the mountains, to go back to New York, to get some change of scenery. And one more thing that I want to mention about the seasons is that you gotta go, especially during the summer. You gotta drive pretty far to get out of here. It's like 7 hours to get to the Georgia border, just to get a little bit of cooler weather. So that's one of the downsides of being here. But other than that, it's perfect a lot of the time. So taxes. There's no income tax in Florida. That's why everybody wants to move here, right? So. But what we do have is property tax. In West Palm Beach, a lot of the money comes from property taxes, and they're not cheap. Okay, people think, it's Florida, it's going to be cheap. It's not cheap. I want to do a little quick calculation for you. Let's say we buy a $700,000 house, right? What does that get you in Brooklyn, like a studio at this point? You're going to be paying $15,000 a year in taxes. Okay? Well, we can get our homestead. Let's see our home. Oh, okay, 14. So, yeah, it's not especially cheap when it comes to taxes. Your taxes are based on the purchase price of your home. So, it's usually about 2%, just as a rough guideline. And, the bigger house you buy, the more expensive. Let's say you want to buy a $2 million house on the water, right? You're looking at $41,000 in taxes. So now we're creeping up into, North Jersey, Westchester County type taxes, but you have no income tax. So that you got to factor that in. And while we're talking about taxes, cost of living, it's not cheap to live here. when I was a kid, you had Eric Estrada pitching Swampland on TV up north. You could pick it up for a song, and now it's not cheap. Food's not cheap. Nothing's really cheap. So if you move here, do not think for 1 second that it is inexpensive. There's nothing inexpensive about living in South Florida. All right. On to for me, this was one of the most important things that I thought about when I moved here. Because coming from New York, we have everything, right? You have food 24 hours a day. You can get anything you want wherever you want. One thing about West Palm Beach is I have not been disappointed. The food here is phenomenal. Everything from dive bars to Michelin-starred restaurants. The food's fantastic. You got to remember, there's a lot of people from up north who they demand good food. You know what? Who doesn't like good food? But yeah, it's great. They have all sorts of cuisines here. Anything you want. The one thing that I got to say about the food is, like I was talking about earlier, it's not cheap. There's not a lot of cheap eats. And I haven't really figured out why. I think it probably has a lot to do with the fact that they make a lot of their money in the wintertime, and then summertime is a lot less busy. But there's not a lot of cheap eats, and even by New York standards, if you go out to eat at some of these restaurants, like in Palm Beach, and even some of the nicer places in West Palm, you will be kind of surprised. I think some of them are even more expensive than New York. So once again, it's not a cheap place to live, but there is great food. You will not be disappointed. Okay, if you're disappointed, come talk to me. I'll point you in the right direction because there's a million wonderful places. All right, things to do. Tons of stuff to do in West Palm. Outdoor stuff, obviously. The beach. And by the way, the beach here is great because you don't have to make it a day-long event. Like up in New York, you got to schlep to a beach, and it's like your day. I can't tell you how many times my family and I will just go to the beach for an hour and then go on our day, with our business. It's not like you have to make a day out of it. You can just go for a swim, park for an hour. It can just be a way of life rather than, I have to make this an entire day, which is super nice. If we ever get bored or something, it's like, let's go to the beach. Bam, we're there in 5 minutes. Zoos, museums. The Norton Museum of Art is world class. The extension they put on, it might as well be in New York City. Phenomenal. You have the Kravis Center where you get all this off-Broadway stuff. Zoos, McCarthy's is one of the coolest places I've ever been. Diving, all sorts of stuff. And you also got to remember, we are an hour away from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, 45 minutes. So you have all that stuff. You can hop on the Bright Line. If you don't know what that is, it is this super modern train that takes you, it can take you to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and they're building an extension all the way up to Disney in Orlando. So does it have as much stuff to do as New York? Absolutely not. But will you run out of things to do? No. All right? You will not run out of stuff to do. There's all sorts of cool stuff. And I don't know if I really need to mention it, but we have a great airport. PBI is awesome. It's like right next to downtown. Here it is. And you can get to New York in 2 hours. You can get it anywhere. It's great. They even, in November of 2020, they are starting flights directly to Los Angeles. So it is an awesome airport. It is nothing like LaGuardia. You get in and out super quick. I have no complaints about PBI. It's a great little airport. Schools. Let's talk about schools. Everybody up north, what do they say? Florida, right? Florida. We got Florida man. you know, that there's some impression that the schools are not good down here. That is total nonsense. There's some great schools here, public schools, private schools. You can you don't have to worry in West Palm City, West Palm, about your kid getting educated. But there are school districts, so when it comes time to pick where you want to be, if you do want to send your kid to public school, Palm Beach Elementary, if you have a young one, South Olive Elementary, these are districted schools, so you're going to be south of Southern here. Here, Palm Beach is Flamingo Park and El Cid, so those are important things. But if you're going to send your kid to public school, to private school, none of those things really matter. There's some excellent, even non-denominational schools. The Green School's amazing. Yeah, tons of Catholic schools to choose from. St. Juliana, Rosarian, all that fun stuff. One thing, traffic. I want to talk about traffic. People down here complain about it. If you've been on the BQE or Van Wyck or Grand Central Parkway, the traffic here is not anything remotely close to it. 95 sometimes gets a little backed up. Okeechobee here, if you're going in and out during rush hour or the rush hours, gets a little backed up. There are ways around all that stuff, so don't worry about it. All right, especially if you're coming up from up north. People complain about it. I'm like, you've never been in traffic. You don't even know what you're talking about. So don't worry about it. One other thing that people always talk about, what about crime, right? What's crime like? Neighborhood Scouts Most Dangerous Cities 2020. Look where West Palm Beach falls. We are the 81st most crime-ridden city. So I want to tell you about crime in West Palm Beach. There is petty crime that goes on all over the city. Okay, I've been to all the town meetings. I've met with the police commissioner and his people. There is a problem with people that will go rifle through your cars, some undesirable people that kind of wander around the city. And there's really no place that you could be in West Palm where you're not going to have some of this. Okay, so it does have that big city problem where, you have vagrants, you have homeless people. If you come visit, you will see there are homeless people downtown. It's something that I hope the city works on because it's a big detraction from some of the really great stuff we have going on down there. So, so there is crime. Now, if we want to talk about violent crime, you are looking at the north side of West Palm Beach. A lot of the crime is taking place up here. As a realtor, I am not allowed to steer you towards one place or another, but you can, there's tons of statistics about crime, and from all the meetings I've been to, the police force is really focused on the north end of the city. So, leave it up to you, to your judgment as to where you want to be. I will tell you that I live down here. I have tons of friends who live all over here. Everybody feels safe. Okay, we're not concerned at all. And a lot of the crime that takes place is not. It's mostly people involved in drugs and whatnot. And they're killing each other, unfortunately, and they're trying to bring that crime rate down. All right. So what else to talk about? That's pretty much it. That's the lay of the land of West Palm Beach. And if you are looking for a home, or you know somebody that's looking for a home, my information is going to be down there. And give me a call. My job is to help you find a place. If you're looking as a buyer's agent, it doesn't cost you a penny to have somebody show you around and show you the ropes. I am an expert in historic homes. I've been down here 3 years. I've already renovated 3 historic homes, and there are a lot. Don't make the mistakes I made. So I will help you not make all these mistakes. And when you're looking for one of these homes, especially the historic ones, they are super adorable. They have so much character and they have tons of problems. So let me guide you and save you a bunch of money without making mistakes buying some termite infested dump that looks really pretty. So thank you for watching my video. This is LaSorsa. I am with Illustrated Properties, and my info is below. Shoot me a message, give me a call, and I'll show you around West Palm. Thanks for checking out my video.